Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Shots on Target podcast. My name is Phil, joined by my man Jakey here.
It's good, everyone.
And this week, we don't actually have too much to talk about. We're obviously going to do our normal Premier League rundown. That's going to last a bit longer than usual. We're going to touch on the European competitions. We're going to give our predictions on the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. And then we're going to also finish it off with a Fantasy League check. So if you are involved in our Fantasy League, make sure you stay to the end of the video to see, if you haven't checked, how you're getting on and our thoughts on it. So without further ado, we'll hop right in. So we started off on the Friday night football again with Chelsea versus Luton. I don't know if you watched that game, Jake.
I did, and I remember tweeting out that it was one of the biggest mid-offs I have possibly ever seen. It was shit. 3-0 does not speak of that result because that was some of the worst football I have ever watched.
So what you're saying is Chelsea are at the same stage as Luton Football Club right now?
At the minute, yeah. I don't think Chelsea played well. Obviously, they took the chances when they came, but
1 minute in and you guys can already tag Jake for something like that. There you go.
No, I'd
get on his back, Chelsea fans, instantly. Chelsea are.
I don't think Caicedo played well. I don't think Fernandes played well. Nicholas Jackson looked like a Lukaku regen.
Sterling looked class though.
Sterling was the only player I can say that actually looked like a professional footballer.
He's actually looked lights out since the start of the season. To be honest, he looked very good against you guys. He looked like the best player against us, and just didn't have no help. And
he's looked like their best player all you said, all season so far. 3 games in, and it looks like he's already carrying that team.
100%. What I will say though, because just from watching the game, Luton, they put up a okay fight. I mean, they restricted Chelsea to minimal chances. To be honest, I mean it took a bit of Sterling magic just to break the deadlock, and then unfortunately, once you break the deadlock against a team like Luton who are playing a high block, it's very difficult to come back at that point.
I don't even think Luton played terribly.
No, that's what I mean.
For a newly promoted side, they played very well. It's just you can tell the lack of kind of gelling together that they've had to know the runs that players make and how to break down, the bigger teams. Because once they got into the final third, they didn't really look like they had a clue.
Yeah, it's also the lack of quality, unfortunately, which was always going to be the problem for Luton. It was always going to be. Let's be honest, 95% of the fixtures for Luton are going to be tough bloody games.
Yeah.
I think the only team at the minute that Luton could possibly pick up points against is Everton. That's just being brutally honest. Everton are shocking at the minute.
Everton are a charity case.
They are. But it was a pretty straightforward.
They made Wolves look good.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to do this season.
But it was pretty straightforward for Chelsea. Nice 3-0 win. At home, it's what they want. It's what they needed. They needed to pick up some points and put in a decent performance. And I guess 3-0, good win for Chelsea, expected. Yeah. So we'll move on to Saturday. This is where things get a bit more mixy. So we'll start off with the early kickoff, which was Bournemouth versus Tottenham. Now this one, I said last week, could have been a banana skin for Tottenham. Could have been a banana skin, and they actually played really well. I've got to be honest. They actually look really good. As much as it pains me to say, being a West Ham fan, Tottenham look really good at the minute. It seems like Ange's literally got everyone firing. It's one of those where it's not the Harry Kane show anymore. It's a Tottenham show.
Yeah.
Bournemouth did have their moments. They had chances. Spurs do look a bit lacklustre at the back. I feel like a better team will punish Tottenham for some of the mistakes they make. But I noticed that Ange's got them playing a style of football that Tottenham fans are probably used to in the past, and he's trying to bring it back, which is playing out from the back again and having the confidence to do that, not just panic. And he was very smart about what he did. He deployed Maddison in a different role than usual on Saturday. He got Maddison to drop deeper in the first half to help them get out from the back. So rather than Maddison playing in the pocket, he was able to just have a free roam. So he was coming deep to help them get out, and then the spaces were then emerging for your sons, Richarlison's, and then you had Maddison joining in deep. It was a fucking smart performance. It really was. Maddison was absolutely on one. He has been since he signed for Tottenham as well. It's another great signing that you expect to do well.
I want to highlight the midfield in that game as well of, I think, Papa Sarr and Basuma.
Yes, yeah.
Postecoglou has got them two playing some unbelievable football.
He has.
My only worry for Spurs is that striker spot. I don't think they've got a good enough striker.
I was about to say the same thing. I think my only worry for them is their amount of goals they're going to score, because I think Richarlison's a player that, I mean, he's Brazil's number 9. Do you know what I mean? He's good enough. He can score. He's just lacking confidence right now. And Son doesn't look like the player he used to be anymore. He looks like every season he looks a bit worse. There's always still quality in Heung-min Son. Like, you don't give him space, he'll punish you. But teams are just figuring out how to play against Son now. That might change. Son is, like I say, still a quality player, but I think if the goals do dry up for Tottenham, that is a big worry. But with James Maddison, you're always going to make chances. Richarlison's Son, Kulusevski will get chances with James Maddison in their team. So I'm not too worried about Tottenham. I wouldn't be as a Tottenham fan. I think it's been a fantastic start to the season, and long may it continue.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously, touching on a little bit about Bournemouth. Like I said, they put in an okay performance. Wasn't the result they obviously wanted, but it's a long way to go for Bournemouth. And I think that they have a mix of good players in there that can give trouble to a lot of teams.
They put us under a few chances last week.
Yeah, exactly. I think they will make chances against teams. It's just, again, like Tottenham, it's whether or not they have someone that can finish them.
I think their biggest issue, like you say, is it's just consistency in that attack.
Yeah.
Semenyo looked fucking awful against Spurs this weekend, but looked brilliant against us.
Yeah, and Solanke was a bit part player this week as well, but looked very good against you as well. So
it's just that consistency. Once they find a bit of consistency within that team, they won't struggle.
Yeah,
they'll stay up comfortably.
So we'll move on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs now, and we've got to start with the biggest shock of the weekend. Is Arsenal's title charge already over?
Yeah, it was an interesting game.
This one is just a mad game if you know the reasoning behind why this finished at 2-2. I mean, it starts off with Fulham going 1-0 up thanks to a Saka gives the ball away. Ramsdale was in no man's land, and Pereira hits it and catches Ramsdale
Still somehow
out.
Goes in.
Yeah. And from that, Arsenal are already on an uphill task.
So that set the tone for the game, them going 1-0 down as early as they did.
It did, and it played into Fulham's hands because obviously Arsenal were pushing for that equaliser, but Fulham had chances on the counter-attack. Jimenez had a fantastic chance in the box. I think Reed had a fantastic chance as well, and this is to make it 2-0 at this point, and obviously didn't take it. Then a massive bit of lacklustre judgment to give away a penalty. I can't remember who gave away the penalty, but it was bloody stupid. It was probably the most bang on. I think it was Tete. It was the most bang on penalty I've ever seen. And obviously, this is the thing I want to touch on though. Arsenal, for me, just don't seem to know what the hell they want to do this season, and I want to bring it to a random point, but it seems for me a very confusing one. So last week they won a penalty right against Forest, was it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think it was Forest.
No, Palace.
Palace, that was it, sorry. And Odegaard steps up to take it. Scored it. This week, win a penalty, Saka takes it, but Odegaard was still on the pitch. I know it's a very slight, weird thing to talk about, but for me, if you have a penalty taker and they're scoring penalties, why change that? I don't really understand the choice of putting Saka on the pen spots. Don't get me wrong, he was in my dream team. I'll take it all day long. But it was just
I think it's to give a bit of confusion to the goalkeeper. Because if you think, before this game, Fulham's goalkeeper will have sat and analysed Odegaard's last 10 penalties to see where he's more likely to go. If he then comes against them, Arsenal get a penalty, and Odegaard's not the one stepping up, he's like, oh, but shit, where do I go now? I've analysed this player for however many attempts that he's taken, and I'm now not facing him.
That's true.
So I guess it's a bit, it mixes it up so they don't become predictable, I guess. It's like, it's almost happened with us with Salah. Salah's our number one penalty taker. He has been for a while now, and people just know where he goes. He's missed I think 4 of his last 6 penalties or something like that.
Yeah, you make a good point. And obviously, I thought as well they might have just gave it to Saka for confidence as well, get him on the score sheet. But
Yeah,
it is one of those. But yeah, so
not 2 minutes later, Eddie Nketiah takes it to 2-1.
Yes, and then at that point you think, from not even just from an Arsenal fan, but from a football perspective, you think that's game done. And then on top of that, Calvin Bassey then gets sent off for a second bookable offence.
I've not seen the red card, so I can't really comment on it.
It's 2 bookings. He gets booked in the first half for. It's one of those where it's another harsh one for time wasting, but the second one is a bang on yellow, and at that point he has to go. But then Arsenal, Fulham was still pressing at this point to get an equaliser, even though Arsenal were dominating. They're messing about at the back, and they're not going for the third goal to kill off the game. And they get punished for it from a corner. I have seen the corner, and I want to point out it is a lack of judgment from Declan Rice in this aspect. He lets his runner go. I don't know if it's confusion between him and Saka. It's one of the two. But Palhinha gets free and squeezes a volley into the bottom corner. And then at this point, Arsenal are absolutely panicking. They bring on their returning Gabriel Jesus for Declan Rice, but that's still not enough. And then even right at the end, they had Fulham had Adama Traore on a breakaway.
He should be scoring that.
He should be.
I have seen that. He has to be scoring that.
His pace is frightening, but it's one of those with Adama Traore. It's always been the same thing. He's got all the pace and the skill in the world, but absolutely no end product. And that could have gave Fulham 3 points. So I think in the grand scheme of things, Arsenal will take the point at the end, but
yeah,
this is not the way they want to start the Premier League season. They've already
dropped points.
Yeah, they've already let City get away. So yeah,
it's never a good sign.
Tough weekend for Arsenal fans. I think they'll be wondering as well. The change of formations and the players playing in different positions. I think I get that Arteta's trying to do something different because he can't do the exact same thing he did last season because it never works 2 seasons in a row. I get that, but sometimes you have to just go with your bread and butter.
I also wonder, why did he start Thomas Partey at right back?
I think he's done that every weekend so far, mate.
Has
week,
he?
Yeah, I think every week he started Thomas Partey at right back. Yeah, because he plays Rice with Jorginho and then Odegaard, so he's been playing Partey at right back every week.
I just don't get it.
No, he's trying to.
I don't get why he's trying to shoehorn Havertz into that team.
He's trying to deploy Partey in a role that he's obviously unfamiliar with, and it's obviously creating confusion. I get that they've probably worked on it all pre-season, but it just doesn't look like it's ready to be done at this point. Whether or not it will cost them again in the future, we'll see. I mean, Arsenal could come in this weekend and win 5-0 and we'll could have a completely different conversation, but
I said it's a very big game this week. It's Arsenal United, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we will move on to the United Forest game.
Yep, United Forest. This one, again, could have been another big banana skin. Forest going 2-0 up inside 4 minutes. Some absolutely calamic defending from a Manchester United perspective. I mean, Man United have a corner. They've got all their defensive players up for the corner. And then when Forest get on the counter-attack with Awoniyi, you've got Brennan Johnson beating Wan-Bissaka to a header, which should never happen. And then your last 2 defending players are Rashford and Antony. Like
two players who should never be back for a corner.
What are Man United thinking at this point? Like, at least have one defensive player to at least alleviate danger, or just one. Like, and I'll be funny, but Rashford should be nowhere near where he was. I mean, he obviously wasn't concentrating. Awoniyi beats him to the ball, and then his pace and strength absolutely gets him away from him. Then he sits.
And then it's an awful fucking goalkeeping error by Onana, who jumps far too early for a save that
Yeah,
shot hasn't even come from yet.
I would say it less of an error, more very good composure from Awoniyi. He just sits him down on his arse and puts it in an empty net. But I agree. Still not the best goalkeeping you want to see from Onana, but still, that's 1-0. United have a chance to then just regain and go again. But then, like London buses, corner for Forest, Willy Bolly, unmarked in the box, doesn't even have to jump. He doesn't even have to jump.
That's criminal defending from United.
It is. I believe it was Casemiro and Wan-Bissaka that were at fault for this one. Casemiro's jumping early, and then Wan-Bissaka's jumping, but with his back. He completely turns. He hasn't got a clue where the ball is. It literally lands on Willy Bolly's head, and it luckily makes its way into the corner. But still, at this point, it's just calamity defending from Manchester United again, and they're 2-0 down within 4 minutes.
Yep.
Luckily, this is Manchester United, though, and they've always got to come back in their arsenal. Good play from Marcus Rashford down the wing, gets it into Eriksen, right near the 6-yard box, and Eriksen sticks it away with a good finish, to be fair, in a tight situation like that.
It's good to see him scoring again.
Yeah.
As much as it pains me that he's scoring for United. He's a player that I have always liked.
Then you've got, in the 52nd minute, Casemiro equalises.
Making up for his 6 yards open goal miss, essentially.
Yeah, he missed one of that. I think it was a few minutes before. So he gets on the score sheet for them. Good to see for Manchester United fans, because if Casemiro is not going to defend great, you do need him to pitch in with the goals. Then obviously the most controversial one, which is Joe Worrell's red card. I've seen it. I agree it is a red card. He's got hold of Bruno. Bruno would have been in. I don't believe Willy Bolly would have covered in time. I think it's a clear goal scoring opportunity. He's not trying to play the ball. Letter of the law, straight red card, he has to go. And to be honest, I don't think Forest can say too much about that one. I think it's a correct decision and a right decision at that point. I don't know if you've seen it, Jake, and have anything to add on it.
I've just looked there, and technically by the letter of the law, that's not a red card. And I'm going to allude to this in the United's Newcastle game. It's only a red card if it's inside the box, and he's not. He's outside the box. It's a foul, yes. It's 100% a foul. It's cynical, but by the law, that's not a red card.
I thought it was if it was just a clear goal scoring opportunity. It doesn't have to be in or outside the box, because obviously if you're through on goal on the 30-yard line and you know you're through on goal, if I swipe you out and break your legs, but even if I'm going for the ball, how is that not a red card? I don't understand that.
I mean, it does also say if there's a genuine attempt to play the ball and the ball's already gone and Worrell's fallen over, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I to be honest, I think it's a bang-on one.
I still think the rule, the new rule, if we're going by the law that no referee seems to want to go by, I think it's a stupid rule. No referee seems to be wanting to go by the correct rules, because
yeah,
I just don't think anyone agrees with them.
Well, either way,
I think it's stupid.
So we have
it's a silly foul to give away.
Oh, definitely.
Really,
definitely.
You should be trusting your keeper in that situation.
I agree. But obviously, Forest are down to 10 men, and it's already 2-2, so it's looking bleak for Forest, and you expect Man United to get that third goal, which they end up doing, with Rashford winning a penalty, Bruno sticking it away, and it's 3 points from Man United. There's not really much else to say on that one, unless you've got anything to add, Jakey.
No, just a very good recovery from United.
Yeah.
A very much needed recovery, because you really, like we say about Arsenal, you shouldn't be dropping points this early in the season, and they've already lost a game this season. So,
yeah,
you know, it's a very good recovery not to be in that same position again, where after 9 possible points, you're only sat there with 3.
True.
3 or 4. So,
yeah,
you know, it's a very good result for Manchester United.
Definitely.
And you know, they'll be hoping they can kick on and
Absolutely.
start to make something of this season.
So we'll move on and we'll just quickly touch on these next two games. You had Brentford and Palace. They played out a 1-1 draw. Not too much to say on this game. I think it's probably a fair result, judging by the from what I've seen of the game, the amount of chances both teams had. I think Brentford could have shaded it. I think they was most likely in the dominant position, winning 1-0, could have made it 2. Lovely goal from their new boy Sade. And not too much to say on that. I think both teams will take that. I think Brentford are just looking to try and do as much as they can until Tony comes back, and Palace, I think Palace is just one of those teams where you expect them to not do well, but you're not surprised when they do well, sort of thing.
Yeah, they've got the players to do well. I just think they're under the wrong management.
Yeah,
I don't think Roy Hodgson is the man to take them forward.
Definitely.
I still can't believe we're in 2023 and we're saying Roy Hodgson's a manager in the Premier League.
I think it's a bit of smart business in terms of Palace, though, just simply because, yes, he's not the manager to take you forward, but I don't think you're going to get relegated with him.
Oh, definitely not.
So I think it all depends. Palace could just be planning for the future, if anything. And then you've got...
There's not a lot of management out there either.
No, there isn't. There generally isn't. And then you've got the last of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Everton Wolves.
Another absolute mid-off.
Yeah, there isn't too much to say about this game. Everton had chances, Wolves had chances. I think Everton had the better chances, but once again, cannot do absolutely anything in front of goal. Missing chance after chance after chance. And Wolves punish them for it. And Wolves is a team that also isn't very prolific in front of goal, but they bring on their big boy.
Their 6'7" monster, and he gets a goal.
He just literally, he doesn't even have to jump. He literally just ducks his head backwards and flicks it in the bottom corner in like the 89th minute or something like that.
Yeah, it was a really late winner.
Really late winner, yeah, which is obviously not good for Everton. 3 games, no wins, no points, not looking good. Sean Dyche, first manager to be sacked. So not too much to say on that. But we'll move on to the final game of Saturday, which is one I've been looking forward to talking to. Moyes Ball. Now this was just an absolute masterclass from David Moyes in my eyes. I think West Ham were like 5-1 going into that game, which is understandable. Brighton looked fantastic. And to be honest, Brighton still played fantastic. This is the craziest thing about this result. We just absolutely played it to perfection. You had Matoma was their danger man. Moyes pinpointed that. He had Bowen basically playing right back with Sofal for most of the game, doubling up on Matoma, not giving him any time or space. The midfield of Ward-Prowse, Souček when he was on, Alvarez in like the deep pocket, but also coming in as like a fifth defender, centre back, was just perfection. Emerson at left back was top tier. Areola in goal was absolutely mustard. And then you come to the attacking side of things from us, where Mikel Antonio just seems to be on one for some reason. I spoke about him last week saying he literally would hit 1 in 40. Well, now he's 2 in 40. And it's just, long may it continue. Lucas Paqueta doing what he does best. It was just an all-round fantastic performance from West Ham United. We literally had a low block in front of Areola and we frustrated Brighton. And then on the counter-attack, Moyes literally pinpointed that left-hand side of Brighton's defence with Webster as the way to go. And we punished from it. And it led to... I think we got 2, maybe 3 goals, all from that side. You had the first one, gets pinged down the line. Antonio pressures Webster, forces a terrible back pass, squares it toward Prowse, who squeezes it in. The next goal, down the left-hand side with Ben Rama, flashes a stunning ball to Jared Bowen, man. This ball needs to be spoke about. This ball is literally perfection. He could not have put it any better onto Jared Bowen's foot, and then the touch... The composure to slow down and poke it into the bottom corner was just unbelievable. And then at 2-0, West Ham fans are in dreamland. But then Mikel Antonio is like, no, I want to get in the act now. I'm going 2 for 40 here. Absolutely puts Webster on skates with a little move and then fires it into the bottom corner. And then at this point, it's 3-0. And West Ham we're in, speaking from a West Ham perspective, we're in absolute dreamland. I'll be honest, conceding the goal to Brighton was annoying. Areola deserved a clean sheet. Oh, a lovely finish. Lovely finish, don't get me wrong.
And Brighton's all-time top goal scorer as well, with that finish, Pascal Gross.
Yep, needs to be spoke about. But I do want to touch on actually how good Brighton was, though. On another day, they could have put 7 or 8 past us. Like,
on another day, they should have put 7 or 8 past.
They should have. They 100% should have. They create chance after chance after chance, and it was actually, even though I'm a West Ham fan, it was annoying to see how much Brighton were attacking. It's refreshing to see because they play football just with an absolute freedom. They don't really have too many set positions. They float around the pitch. I mean, it can be a hindrance when you're not playing set positions defensively, and I think that's where we caught them out on Saturday. But like I say, they play with no fear. They're not scared about giving up chances at the other end if they're going to dominate the ball. I mean, I think the possession stats were like 82-18, and we won 3-1 away at Brighton at the Amex, which we haven't won there in, I think it was 12 attempts.
Yeah, you've not won there since they came up.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So fantastic for a West Ham perspective, but I did want to touch on that Brighton were not terrible. The scoreline does not speak on the result at all.
Yeah.
And we're not worried about Brighton at all in the slightest. Anything else you want to add?
Not really. I think you've pretty much covered everything. I just want to touch on that Brighton goal again. Pascal Gross took it very, very well. A very powerful driven shot into the bottom corner. Ben Rama, that assist was the moment of the game for me watching it. It's just a pinpoint perfect pass. And I don't think there's many players in your team that can play that pass other than the likes of Paqueta.
Yeah, and I think
it's such a special ball. It's on his toe. It's perfectly weighted. You know, it's just.
It's one of those where if KDB
pass.
makes that pass, you'll hear about it for a week. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a KDB type pass. Like,
it needs talking about more, definitely.
For me, that's the assist of the season so far, in my eyes.
Yeah,
I don't see a better one. But moving on to Sunday to round off the Premier League fixtures. So we had Burnley versus Aston Villa. This one could have been a banana skin for Villa. Burnley's first home game in the Premier League. Could have always been a tough one, but Villa showed their quality. Moussa Diaby, assist and a goal. He's looking absolutely fire for Aston Villa. A fantastic signing.
He looks an unbelievable signing.
He does. He literally nearly even scored a carbon copy goal with the one he scored against Newcastle. Again, like a volley inside the box. Like, this guy's just got a bit of everything about him. And obviously, Villa are scoring goals, and Ollie Watkins hasn't even opened his account yet. So that's a scary thought for a lot of teams. Because when Ollie Watkins,
it was a change of system as well for Villa, wasn't it?
Yes, they deployed
a 3-back.
Yeah, a 3-back, and they played John McGinn in a bit of a higher role than he's usually in, which actually worked out really well because it meant he did a bit of everything, to be honest, on Sunday to John McGinn. Just from watching what I saw on Match of the Day 2, McGinn had a role in pretty much everything. He was linking up well. I do believe Burnley had chances, and obviously scored a goal. Fair play to them, but I think they would have been happy with their performance, but there was obviously work to be done at Burnley.
You can see the gulf in class at the minute between Burnley and the rest of the ones that kind of linger around the bottom half.
Oh, definitely. But moving on, we'll go to what really, really could have been a big banana skin. I mean, it's one of those where even if City would have dropped points, we wouldn't have been like, oh my God, they've dropped points. Yeah, because it's City at the end of the day. But
it's nearly a very, very big result for Sheffield United.
Nearly, yes.
A very big result. Kept them quiet. Obviously, they had the penalty in the first half. Haaland obviously misses it. We can confirm he is human.
Yep.
And it was a very quiet game up until the deadlock was broken after 63 minutes from Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I'll be
clearly dusted off the penalty.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The only person that really looked it sounds stupid, but the only person that really looked up for the game was Haaland. He just seemed so determined to score that day, and I'm like, no matter, especially after he missed the penalty, he was like, I've got to get on the score sheet now, and he just looked relieved after he did get the equaliser. But for me, it was just a case of City turned up, not completely at the races, and just sort of like, oh, it's Sheffield United, we should dispatch these pretty simple. We don't have to go 100% here. But obviously they're champions for a reason, and Sheffield United obviously got a fantastic equaliser. It was a lovely bit of play. Obviously, mistake from Kyle Walker trying to do a back heel in his own box. I don't really know what he's thinking there. Just play safe, but
that's the edge getting to him.
It is, but it's also the way Pep's told them to play. He wants them to keep the ball as much as possible, even in the tightest of tight situations. Even if you do give away a goal, if you're trying to play the right way, Guardiola's not too fussed about it. So yeah, Sheffield United get their equaliser, but then, like I say, champions will always find a way. And today's
he's so good, Rodri.
He is fantastic.
He is so good. It pains me to say it, but he's phenomenal.
He is fantastic.
I don't think there's anything he can't do. He's quick, he's strong, he can pass, he can dribble, he can defend, he can score. He might be like one of the most complete defensive midfielders I've seen.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one, especially at the moment. Anyway,
definitely at the moment.
There were defensive midfielders in the time that did what Rodri can do, but yeah,
Xabi Alonso being one of them as a countryman.
Patrick Vieira's another one.
Yeah, but again, like clutch player for City.
Yep.
Obviously, he scored in the Champions League final. He was amazing in that Champions League final as well, and he's just been an ever present in this City team since joining, and he's repaid Pep.
Definitely.
In his performances, he's just a brilliant footballer.
Definitely.
It hurts me to say it.
Yeah, definitely has. So we'll round it off with the Newcastle-Liverpool game, where I will give it to you, my friend. Off you go.
Yeah, a very weird game. St James's Park, obviously not a very easy place to go. There were signs early on that this could be a very difficult game. I want to touch on the referee in a slight bit. Yeah, as a Liverpool fan, I could tell it was going to be an annoying game when Trent was fouled by Gordon. He was shoved off the ball, and then Trent was booked for throwing the ball back onto the pitch. I think it's a silly yellow card. For one, it should be a foul. Not long after that, when Trent brings him down, look, for me, I don't think it's enough for a yellow. I didn't think Tomiyasu's second yellow was enough for a yellow. And then Anthony Gordon kicks the ball away and doesn't receive a booking. So already we can see there's no consistency within the league. Trent had a cataclysmic first half. Ball played back from Salah, goes under his foot. Don't know why he's trying to control it with his studs. And it had to be that fucking man, Claire Baldwin has to go through and score to open the scoring for the game. It's a very good finish. He puts it on Alisson. And it could have got very, very messy after Van Dijk's red card. A red card that I think is ridiculously harsh, because I don't think he's denying a goal scoring opportunity. For one, Isaac's going wide. There is a genuine attempt to play the ball. I think he wins the ball, in my opinion. But it's the whole, he's gone through the man. I still don't think it's a red card by the law as well. It's outside the box. It's just there's just no consistency within this league.
Yeah.
When it comes to officials.
I'll be honest. It's the Van Dijk one definitely is not a red card. It's for me. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes out in the next couple of days that it's been rescinded and he'll be able to play this weekend.
Well, he's being charged with misconduct, isn't he? Because he told the referee not to touch him.
Okay, yeah, well, that then is an issue.
The same referee that elbowed Robertson and got away with it.
Well,
I don't know anymore.
What can you say? I do
even after the red cards.
I was gonna say, before you carry on, I just do want to touch on one thing. Obviously, yes, the Van Dijk red card is not a red card, but I think it's a bit of a deja vu on Liverpool's part, because for me personally, Trent should have seen red. He kicks the ball away, does not get booked for it. And
He does get booked for it.
sorry,
He does get booked for that one.
what was the one he didn't get booked for then?
Where he sort of pushed Gordon over.
I thought it was the one. I didn't watch the game. I was just going by what I saw.
Gordon shoved him, and he pushed him off the pitch. Trent threw the ball back onto the pitch because it followed him off. He got booked for that, and then Gordon made it down the line. The ball was already gone, and Trent kind of motioned his arm towards him and like muscled him out. Gordon's at the deck, and it was given as a foul. For one, I don't think that's a foul because, like I said, the ball's already gone. He's making a meal of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's making the most of the situation because it's an arm on the shoulder. It's not enough to go down.
Right, okay.
It's the same with the Tomiyasu one. I don't think that's enough to go down. There was no there's not enough contact to warrant him hitting the deck the way he did.
Okay, fair enough.
And from minute 28, it looked like it was going to be a tough game. You know, Newcastle had chances. I want to allude to Alisson Becker. He is the best goalkeeper in the world. I will not be told otherwise. If it wasn't for him, we could have lost this game 3-4, 5-0. Because they had chances. They had a lot of chances. But if you let us stay in the game, we're going to find a way. I think Klopp managed that game perfectly. And the game changed when he brought Núñez on. And when Eddie Howe took their two best players off in Gordon and Tonali.
Let's be honest though, no one saw it coming though. Even though you do have the quality to do what you did, no one fucking saw that coming.
Oh, no one expected us to get anything from like being down to 10 men. But Núñez just decided, you know, today's the day I want to start scoring goals, like you say with Antonio.
Yeah.
A mistake from Botman. I don't know how. I've looked at that goal. I don't know how he's controlled that and how it's ended up going through to Núñez. It looks like one of them where it's just kind of gone through him. And an absolutely clinical finish from Núñez. I'm not used to saying them words, but a brilliant finish. Pope's position in the perfect position, like for where he should be, and it's just too like slotted into the far post. And then the game carries on. We look like we're pressing forward again. And Salah plays a perfect ball through to Núñez, and it's deja vu. He's put it past Pope.
Yeah.
And it's Darwin Núñez to the rescue.
I would like to say at the point where I think it was the 80th minute, because obviously I was working at the time and I work in a bookies, Liverpool were 50-1 to make that turnaround at that point.
I shall put some money on it.
50-1 just to win 2-1. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, no one saw that coming. It's a fantastic 3 points for Liverpool at St James's Park. Because even if without the red card, Liverpool winning 2-1 at St James's Park would have been a great result for Liverpool. Because Newcastle obviously
100%.
look good.
It's like a cauldron of fire, that place. It's such a horrible place to go as an away team.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But that's going to do it for the Premier League for this weekend. Obviously, we'll have a quick look at the table standings. So you've got Man City leading the way, 3 games, 3 wins, 9 points. In second place, I'm going to need to clip. Someone needs to clip this. West Ham United in second place with 2 wins and a draw. You've got Tottenham and Liverpool rounding off the top 4. Arsenal, Brighton, Villa, Man United lingering 8th. Then we go near down the bottom. You've got Newcastle, Forest, Wolves, Sheffield United, and then the relegation spots without a point is Burnley, Luton, and Everton. So, other than West Ham sitting second place, it's pretty much kind of straightforward. Obviously, you've got Man United in 8th.
Yeah.
But
Chelsea in 10th.
Yeah, but in terms of like the fixtures, I'd say that's pretty much straightforward. For now, obviously, the transfer window is about to slam shut. While we stay on that, guys, if you do enjoy the Shots on Target podcast and you want to see us in live time, we will be live on this YouTube channel on Friday from 8 o'clock to when the window slams shut, bringing you everything transfer related. You can ask your questions. You can have a conversation with us about what your team's done and stuff like that. And we will be live from 8 o'clock on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys stop by for that.
Be an exciting stream.
It definitely will. Okay, so we was going to touch on the European competitions, but we've run a bit over with the Premier League rundown, so we're going to skip that. So we'll
do that in another video.
Yeah,
100%.
So all we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at our fantasy league. Remember, guys, we said about the fantasy league at the start of the season. It is a £100 prize to the overall winner. So currently, as we look at the standings here, we've got Trevor B in first place with 195 points. Well done, Trevor. In second place with Stuart Welch with 187. And then Josh Pennington in third with 181. Aaron Baker is on 180 in fourth. Then we've got dropping down a little bit is Jack Thompson with 178 and Luke Radford with 176. In seventh place, climbing, is Carl Oldroyd with 171. Eighth is Jawad Fahat, dropping to eighth place with 170. And then you've got the lower division people, who is Sanjay Sikotra, hope I've pronounced that right, with 164. Owen Barnett in 10th, with 163. Joe Poppleton in 11th with 154. And then you've got yours truly, me and Jake. I'm 12th.
Right at the bottom.
I'm 12th with 151. And then Jakey's right at the bottom after a poor game week with only 32 points with 135. But
in my defence, I didn't expect Haaland to blank for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think anyone did. But yeah, so those are the standings currently at the minute, guys. Obviously, it's only been 3 weeks, but we just thought we'd give a little rundown at the end of this video just to keep you guys updated with it if you haven't checked it, and just a bit of fun at the end of the day. We're not bothered about where we finish. Obviously, we can't win the grand prize. It's just a bit of fun for us, but we still want to beat you guys, so we're going to be competitive about this for sure.
I need a big game week coming up. I need a big game week 4.
That's it. I might put I'm tempted to put Kudos in my dream team.
I need an 80-pointer. Take me up towards the top.
80-pointer? You're going to triple captain someone then?
Yeah, I'll triple. Who's City player this week?
I think you should triple captain a West Ham player, mate. We got Luton.
Okay, yeah. I'll put Kudus in and I'll triple captain them. Why not? Kudus on Mikel Antonio.
Mikel, mate. Mikel gets 4. Can you imagine?
God.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to be eating my words about him not scoring more than 10 this season.
Hey, I'm a West Ham fan. I'll be doing the same thing, mate. But that's going to do it, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, like I said, Friday, 8 PM here on the YouTube channel. This video goes live at 6. We are live at 8. So obviously, if you're watching this video now at 6 o'clock on Friday, after you watch this, go get your dinner, get situated, and be ready for us at 8 o'clock with the end of the transfer window.
Do you also want to touch on the Spotify?
Yes, so we've looked into it and we have created a Spotify podcast account. So this will also be live on Spotify from Friday at 7. I'm still getting all the bits and pieces sorted for it, but it will be live this Friday at 7 o'clock. So if you don't want to watch a long YouTube video and just want to hear the podcast, it's also there for you guys as well, and the link will be in the description below.
Well, it won't be because we don't have a link yet.
Yeah, good point. It will be live.
The link will be on our Twitter.
Yeah, the link will be on the Twitter. We'll sort it out anyway, guys. You'll find it, don't worry.
Make sure you follow our Twitter and keep our notifications on.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it from us, guys. Hope you have a fantastic week. Enjoy the end of the transfer window. I hope your team signs a beauty.
And we will see you on Friday.
We will. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.